In this short video, I'm going to work an example from section 8.4 on working with the cone. This is the one that seems to give students the most trouble. So this problem asks us to find the volume and the surface area of the three-dimensional figure. And this is a cone, and it says use the pi key on your calculator. And I'm going to use the scientific calculator that's built into my computer. So let's do the volume first. And remember the formula for the volume of a cone shown here, 1/3 pi r squared h. And for this problem, the radius is 6 centimeters and the height is 14 centimeters. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and substitute those values into my calculator, into the formula first, and then I'm going to use the calculator. Now what I'm going to show you is how to do this without stopping. I don't want you to write down intermediate steps. And if we look at order of operations, the first thing we would do here is the exponent. So I'm going to put in 6 and I'm going to square 6, and I can use my square key here, 36. And then the next thing I see I can do is I can multiply by 14. I'm going to leave the pi multiplication until the very end. So now I've got 504 pi, and I've got a 3 in the denominator, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide the 504 by 3, and now I've got 168 pi. Now I'm going to multiply by my pi key, times pi. And the directions for the problem actually ask you to round it to hundreds, which is 2 decimal places. So this is going to be 527.79. And I put a note here to watch out. What kind of units are we dealing with when we're dealing with volume? We're dealing with cubic units. So the answer is going to be centimeters cubed in this case. Now the second part of the problem wants us to find the surface area, and this is the formula that seems to be most difficult for students. So let me go ahead and pull my calculator up again. And here's the formula for the surface area of a cone, and it's got a square root in it, and that's where I think the difficulty comes in. So the first thing I did was I placed my values into the formula. So the radius was 6 centimeters and the height was 14. So I went ahead and I put my numbers in. Now again, I'm going to start right here. So 6 squared I know is 36. I may not know 14 squared, so I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator to figure that out. It's 196. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 36. So now I've got the number under the square root sign that I need to take the square root of. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the square root of that, and I get 15.23155. Now I'm going to multiply that by 6. And again, I'm going to keep the pi calculation till the very end. So I've got 91.38928 pi plus 36 pi. So I'm going to go ahead and add the coefficients. These are like terms, so I can add the coefficient part. So now I've got 128.38928 pi, and now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by pi. So again, I'd urge you to do that pi calculation at the very, very end. So 400.21, and let's go down here. And remember, this is surface area, so we've got square units. So the surface area of this cone is going to be 400.21 square centimeters.